tonight's meeting. We are your volunteer representatives appointed by our county councilperson or county executive and entrusted to monitor renovations and additions to our Baltimore County historic resources. The LPC reviews and approves nominations to the Baltimore County Preliminary Landmarks List, comments on National Register nominations, reviews all exterior alterations within county historic districts, and is charged with evaluating Baltimore County historic tax credit applications. Would the commissioners please introduce themselves by name and county council district or representation? We can go in the order listed on the PowerPoint screen.
Lily Mundroth, District 1.
Chris Weston, District 2.
I think Ted is not on.
No, Ted has a prior commitment.
Okay, so Daniel?
Daniel Dean, District 5.
John Holman, District 6.
Okay, Jamie, next.
Jamie Ferguson, executive appointment.
And I didn't see Raquel, so we can go on to Ed.
Ed Horde, executive appointment.
Okay, and I'm not seeing Vince, so we can move on
Vince
to
won't
Tom.
be joining us.
Okay.
Tom Liebel, executive appointment.
And Chris Parts?
Chris Parts, executive appointment.
Okay, thank you all. Now, if we could please stand as we recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, and justice for all. The Landmarks Preservation Commission operates under the authority, standards, and requirements of Title VII, Article 32 of the Baltimore County Code. We refer to the United States Secretary of the Interior standards for rehabilitation as administered by the National Park Service. This is the accepted national standard for historic preservation projects. Our own Baltimore County Historic Preservation Guidelines directly reference and incorporate the Secretary of the Interior standards for rehabilitation. We have important preservation issues to discuss and debate at each meeting. If you would like to make comments, please limit your comments to the specific application or proposal submission being reviewed. We ask for your assistance and understanding so that the discussions do not digress. As an additional comment, we can all agree that historic preservation is an important aspect of the quality of life and place that makes Baltimore County unique. As commissioners, we serve on the commission due to our expertise, interest, and passion for historic buildings and places, and we review submissions based solely on their merit. While we may disagree in discussion and voting, we continue to be a collegial body that respects each other personally and professionally. So would staff please provide us with our virtual meeting reminders?
Yes, so the members of the general public had the opportunity to sign up in advance with LPC staff, which is outlined in our online agenda. Speaker sign-up starts a week before the scheduled hearing. At the appropriate time for those who have signed up, staff will unmute those. And so we ask that they keep their comments under 3 minutes, and a timer will be visible on the screen. And persons who do not wish to speak at the meeting also had the opportunity to convey their thoughts by submitting written testimony to staff prior to the meeting, and that has been circulated to the commission prior to the meeting. And also just to make a note that the chair does have discretion on allowing members of the public to speak who did not sign up in advance if their comments are different than the ones that have already been heard. And if that's the case, please send the chat to the meeting host, which is me, so that I can let the chair know that. Also, just a reminder that the commissioners receive all application meeting materials 1 week prior to the meeting in order to prepare. The information in this presentation is merely just a summary to keep the meeting moving in an organized manner.
Okay. So then I think we now move on to our special presentations, which we have two for national register nominations.
Yes, correct. So I'm going to do both presentations for them at the same time, and then, if that's all right, and then you guys can make your vote for both of them in one motion rather than doing two of them, one after each presentation, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that's
We have two of them. All
that's
right.
fine with me.
Just give me 1 second while
As long as there are no other commissioners who have any objections to that.
All right, give me 1 second while I switch.
Okay.
All right. So this evening we have two National Register nominations, two very different resources. The first one is Eliasburg Residence, and this is located in Owings Mills, Maryland. So why does Baltimore County review National Register? Sorry, that says district. Ignore that. National Register nominations. So Baltimore County is a certified local government by the Maryland Historical Trust, and we are invited to assess nominations eligibility for the National Register. So it's acting as a CLG agency. The LPC and the county executive will make a recommendation to MHT after the hearing in support of or in opposition to a nomination based on the nomination's documentation sufficiency. And commissioners, just make sure that you please mute yourselves. Just I've been getting some feedback. Thank you. So the Eliasburg Residence is located in Owings Mills, Maryland, and it's a mid-century modern home designed by architect Ida Brown Webster. And it was built between 1957 and 1958. And it's situated on a wooded lot just under 6 acres. The property includes a main house, which is contributing, and then 2 freestanding garden sheds, which are non-contributing. And then the characteristic of modernist homes, the building has a low horizontal massing and flat roof with varying heights. The house has recently undergone a careful rehabilitation, preserving as much of the extant historic fabric as possible while replacing many finishes in kind. On the interior, you have the original floor plan, and finishes were retained with deteriorated millwork replaced in kind where necessary. And overall, the property retains sufficient integrity to maintain its historic significance and character as a fine example of a mid-century modern residence designed by Ida Brown Webster. So Eliasburg Residence is applying for significance under the following National Register criteria. Under Criterion A, the property is associated with events that have made a significant contribution to the broad pattern of history. The Eliasburg Residence was designed by Ida Brown Webster. It meets Criterion A for its association with the multiple property documentation form context for women architects in Maryland during the post-war era, 1945 to 1970. And during this period, women were forging new professional roles within the field where they had previously been underrepresented and often confined to supporting capacities. Ida Brown Webster's successful career as one of the first female partners in a well-established architectural firm in the U.S. exemplifies the growing role of women in the field during this period, which coincided with the broader fight for gender equality in a greater society. The property is also applying for significance under Criterion C for property that embodies the distinctive characteristics of a type, period, or method of construction, or represents the work of a master architect, or possesses high artistic values, or represents a significant distinguishable entity whose components lacked individual distinction. So under Criterion C, this is an example of a custom designed mid-century modern style residence, and is the only building in Maryland attributed to architect Ida Brown Webster. And the design reflects key characteristics of the mid-century modern movement, including its low slung massing, varied roof forms, modern materials, and emphasis on functional spatial planning. The Eliasburg Residence stands as an example a strong example of her mid-century modern design sensibility and reflects the architectural direction of suburban Maryland during the post-war era. Ida Brown Webster was born on August 8th, 1899 in Rochester, New York to Russian immigrants, and she grew up in Cedarhurst, Long Island. She had attended Adelphi College in New York, where she earned a Bachelor's of Arts in Mathematics in 1920, and then she was enrolled in the Graduate Architecture program at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, where she was the only woman in her class. In 1924, Ida had married a Wall Street broker and lifelong friend, Morton S. Webster, and they eventually had 2 children. So arriving in New York City early in her career, she began searching for employment, but encountered widespread gender bias in the profession. And after 75 interviews, she finally was hired by the École des Beaux-Arts trained architect Richard Henry Dana Jr. for a 2-week trial period. And by her 3rd week, she was designing a residence for Andrew Carnegie's daughter, Mrs. Roswell Miller Jr. She worked for Evans, Moore, and Woodbridge from 1930 to 1943, becoming one of the first female partners in an architecture firm in the country. In 1948, she joined with Saul Edelbaum to form Edelbaum Webster. The firm did many residences for wealthy Jewish merchant families in the South, as well as public housing projects in New York City. So a few noteworthy examples include the Eli and Sarah Evans House in Durham, North Carolina, and the Blumenthal residence in Charlotte, North Carolina. And this is an example of one of the public housing projects in New York City. So in the early 1950s, Webster began the design of one of her signature works, which is the Eliasburg residence in Owings Mills. It was constructed between 1957 and 1958. Jackie and Lou Eliasburg commissioned their family friend and architect Ida Brown Webster to design their family home. The Eliasburgs favored the sleek yet comfortable design of modern architecture, a style which Webster showed particular proficiency. Jackie Eliasburg later recalled that she specifically favored Webster's designs for their open, modern spaces, attention to detail, and her use of natural materials. So the H-shaped main residence is 1 story plus a basement with an L-shaped wing and a pull-through garage that extends off the south elevation. The building's footprint defines these distinct semi-paved outdoor courtyards, one at the main entrance, one at the rear of the residence, and which includes an original slightly raised fish pond, and another where the main house meets the L-shaped garage wing on the south. Characteristic of modernist homes is the building has a low horizontal massing and flat roof with varying heights with deeply overhanging boxed eaves. The soffit under the overhang is clad in tongue and groove wood plank with recessed-like fixtures at various locations. The building is constructed with a steel frame on a concrete foundation with exterior walls of concrete block, clad primarily in tan brick laid in a running bond. The house, which I mentioned, is clad in brick. It also has some ashlar stone veneer and has large glass pane windows framed in aluminum. On the west elevation serves as a primary facade of the residence, indicated by an inset entrance and courtyard. So here's a photo of the inset courtyard. The building's south elevation features prominent glass curtain wall, which accommodates a 1.5-story living room. And the interior of the residence is organized in accordance with its H-shaped plan, with spaces distinctly arranged to accommodate public and private functions. The living room is 1.5-story space centered on a large ashlar stone fireplace, as seen on the screen. And then there's Celestry windows found along the north wall behind the ceiling. And the east and west walls feature original cane trimmed wood cabinetry and built-in surround sound speakers. While some modifications have occurred, the overall material palette, spatial organization, and custom built-in elements, which strongly reflect its original mid-century modern design, remain intact throughout the structure. So staff's recommendation is that the research and documentation confirms that this property is eligible for the National Register of Historic Places. And staff's recommendation is to vote to support the nomination to the National Register under criteria A and C. And I hope that all the commissioners were able to read the entire nomination. It's about 70 pages. It has a lot more detail. I wish I could share more of it, but this meeting, we don't want to be here for 3 hours. So let me move on to the next. All right, moving on. So our next National Register nomination is for the Halethorpe Colored School. And I just want to make a note that this property was added to the final landmarks list, locally designated here in Baltimore County in April of 2020. I'm not going to read that again. You guys just heard me talk about that. So the Halethorpe Colored School was built in 1924 for the Baltimore County Board of Education, designed by Baltimore-based architecture firm Smith & May, and was excuse me, financed in part through the Rosenwald Fund. It's a one-story brick building with partially exposed rubble masonry foundation and a hipped asphalt shingle roof. The building occupies just over a 2-acre site within East Halethorpe, a subdivision that was platted by and for African Americans in 1921. The Halethorpe Colored School ended operations in 1944 as part of a countywide program of school closures and consolidations. Baltimore County sold the building in 1947, after which it was privately owned for a period. And then during that time, it was used as a nursing home and a community center. And then the building was sold back to Baltimore County for use as a rec center in 1968. So the Halethorpe Colored School is applying for significance under the following National Register criteria under Criterion A. The property is associated with events that have made a significant contribution to the broad patterns of history. So it's eligible for listing the local level under Criterion A in the areas of education and African American ethnic heritage. So the school provided free public education for African American children living in East Halethorpe and its surrounding areas from its opening in 1924 until 1944, when the school was closed. It's designed by Smith & May and represents Baltimore County's interpretation of the masonry two-teacher, two-room schoolhouse, which was publicized by the Rosenwald program. So the period of significance for the Rosenwald School begins in 1924 and ends in 1944. And the historical and architectural context for the Halethorpe Colored School is provided in the multi-property documentation form. Rosenwald schools in Maryland, of Maryland. The Halethorpe Colored School meets all 3 of the registration requirements for Maryland Rosenwald schools as defined in that context. There were schoolhouses for African American students. Construction was assisted by financial support from the Julius Rosenwald Fund. It was built in Maryland between 1918 and 1932. So one of the earliest advocates for education improvement of African Americans was Booker T. Washington. Recognizing that education was critical to the success of freedmen after the Civil War, Washington founded the Tuskegee Institute in Alabama in 1881 as a normal and industrial school. The state of Alabama officially recognized it as a public institution dedicated to the education of Black men and women, to training in practical skills and industrial arts. Although the concept of organized programs assisting with the improvement of education for African children was not new, Booker T. Washington approached Northern philanthropists with the concept of investing in programs to benefit Southern states. So Julius Rosenwald was a Northern philanthropist who believed in the concept of improving oneself through enterprise and hard work. The son of immigrants, Rosenwald found financial success in his men's clothing business that he opened with his cousin in 1885, where Richard Sears was one of his initial customers. In 1895, Rosenwald became partner in the Sears Roebuck Company. The mail order concept proved to be wildly successful and made Julius Rosenwald a very wealthy man. Following the company's public offering in 1906, its net sales revenue totaled more than $49 million. And following Richard Sears' retirement, Rosenwald became the president of the company. Looking to give back to the community, he initially focused on charitable causes that primarily benefited Jewish communities. But after reading Booker T. Washington's autobiography, Up From Slavery, Rosenwald expanded his interest and to include the education of African Americans. His involvement with the YMCA eventually led to a personal acquaintance with Booker T. Washington at a YMCA conference in 1911. Rosenwald visited the Tuskegee Institute at Washington's invitation and agreed to serve as one of its trustees. Shortly afterwards, he provided $25,000 in financial support toward matching grants for the development of schools to train teachers associated with Tuskegee. Washington and Rosenwald began their efforts with construction of schools in 6 rural communities located in the vicinity of the Tuskegee Institute between 1912 and 1914. So construction materials were locally sourced, and Sears Modern Homes Division provided prefabricated components such as windows, doors, and hardware. Building on the experiment's success, in 1914, Rosenwald pledged $30,000 toward 100 more schoolhouses in Alabama. Instead of providing half the money to the community as he did in 1912, the community and the local jurisdiction would be expected to raise the balance of the funds first before Rosenwald supplemented the amount. The program eventually expanded to states outside of Alabama and used the same approach. When the Julius Rosenwald Fund was formally established in 1917, it had a broader goal in mind for its work, but eventually the primary focus would be school construction in the South. Providing seed money for school construction, the local communities were expected to match the financial contributions from the fund or provide in-kind contributions in the form of like materials or labor. The program also offered architectural plans and planning assistance. Rosenwald firmly believed that everyone deserved a quality education in a modern facility, and the schools constructed during the program's existence were meant to be the centerpiece of a community. For the first group of schools built in 1912, Rosenwald relied on architects from the Tuskegee Institute faculty for the plans. They devised 3 main building types: a 1 and 2 teacher schools, consolidated schools, and county training schools that served a larger population. From the Tuskegee designs, a form was developed in the style that would come to be associated with Rosenwald schools. Planning advice was provided for the choosing of school sites and location of recreation sites. It was recommended the windows to be oriented east-west so each classroom could maximize the use of natural light, and to locate the largest windows on one side only. Breeze windows were also integrated to enhance ventilation. Technical advice for construction materials were also included. Recommendations for foundation materials included brick, stone, or concrete. So buildings typically featured a hipped roof or gable roof with entrances sheltered by small porches or canopies. Plans were specific to the siting of the building to take advantage of the light. So architectural plan updates made during the 1920 reorganization incorporated design elements from the Tuskegee era, but also integrated the most modern features available. Schools in Maryland typically followed the 2 teacher plans, and some included a projecting shop or industrial room. So the development of Halethorpe in the southwest part of Baltimore County resulted from similar growth patterns experienced by many other communities close to the Baltimore city line. As Baltimore County moved from an agricultural-based economy, less land was required to support residential homes and the activities of daily life. Many of the 19th century gentleman estates situated in the southern part of the county became ideal targets for enterprising businessmen wishing to develop new communities. Before 1880, the area that would become Halethorpe was also largely populated by country estates. Organ R. Benson and James Rittenhouse determined that the area to be an ideal location for their new community due to its close proximity to the Baltimore and Potomac and the Baltimore and Ohio railroads. They established a Halethorpe Improvement Company prior to 1890 and began to advertise new building lots for sale. While it is unclear where the credit should be given for choosing Halethorpe as the name for the new subdivision, Hale meant healthy, and Thorpe was Middle English for hamlet, so consequently, the healthy village that was developed at the end of the 19th century was known as Halethorpe. The first houses in the community were built shortly afterwards, and the growth followed at a rapid pace. Businesses, houses of worship, along with county police and fire services were established, and there was a post office and rail stop. Together, they quite literally put Halethorpe on the map. Halethorpe's success led to the acquisition of neighboring estates and more development. New subdivisions like North Halethorpe, Halethorpe Terrace, and East Halethorpe were platted in the early decades of the 20th century. So the community known as East Halethorpe was built on land originally part of the John Carp estate acquired by James T. Harris and James A. Williams on behalf of the Patapsco Savings and Real Estate Company of Anne Arundel County, Inc. in 1920. An African-American community had been well established decades before they bought the property. Census records from 1900 through 1920 indicate the majority of the men worked as farm or railroad laborers and rented their homes. In 1900, over a dozen children were noted currently attending a school. A wood frame schoolhouse for African American children was built prior to 1924 at the corner of Selma Avenue and Washington Boulevard. The new East Halethorpe subdivision was able to take advantage of the already sizable African American community, and sales advertisements focused on those looking to buy instead of renting a home. The community of East Halethorpe lobbied Baltimore County for a new school as early as 1921 and initially contributed $800 toward a new school building. From a Baltimore Sun article in July of 1921, it said that showing their interest in schools, the colored population of Halethorpe yesterday waited on the Board of Education of Baltimore County and presented 2 lots and a check for $800 toward a new school building for their children. The check was given in the name of the Patrons Club of Halethorpe, and the lots were the gift of the Patapsco Savings and Real Estate Company. The gifts will be held by the board and applied toward the building of a new school when the necessary funds are available. By 1923, the Board of Education had officially committed and added the new school to its list of construction projects. As required by the Rosenwald Fund, the project had the collective financial and planning support from both the community's residents and local government, and according to the Rosenwald Fund records, the total construction costs amounted to about $16,000. The community contributed just under $2,000, and the school system provided $13,000. The fund provided more than a $700 amount, which was allocated to a 2-teacher type school. In addition, members of the East Halethorpe community contributed their labor to its construction. The school was completed in 1924 and dedicated on October 26, 1924. The first brick schools, like Halethorpe, appeared in 1924, which addressed Rosenwald Fund's expectations that the buildings to be durable and were intended for long-term use. So Halethorpe was constructed using the two-teacher type plan, and the design was a variation on plan number 20 that did not include the projecting industrial room bay. The school featured 2 classrooms, a cloakroom on the primary entrance side of the building, and 2 bathrooms that were accessible in the basement. 5 sets of large double hung windows were on the eastern elevation to take advantage of the natural light, as outlined in the Rosenwald plan. And then a partition was also used to reconfigure spaces as needed, which was another characteristic of a Rosenwald school. So by the time the program ended in 1932, the Julius Rosenwald Fund assisted the construction of more than 5,000 schools and industrial buildings in 15 southern states. And in Maryland, there are 167 educational buildings were constructed in 20 counties, while 156 of the buildings were schools. The fund also supported industrial buildings and teacher housing. In Baltimore County, out of the 6 schools constructed with Rosenwald Fund assistance, 4 survive, bearing retention of original elements, and with East Halethorpe Colored School being one of them. Again, for this one, the completed research and documentation confirms that this property is eligible for the National Register of Historic Places under Criterion A, and staff's recommendation to vote to support the nomination. All right.
Okay, thank you, Caitlin. I do want to, before we begin, acknowledge that Raquel joined the meeting, either before or in the midst of the Eisenberg residents presentation.
I got there before.
Can you hear me? This is Wendy.
Yes, we can hear you, Wendy.
Okay, I just was able to join also.
Okay. Yeah, I thought we had you before, but
I couldn't, it wouldn't accept the password, so I couldn't get in.
okay. Well, good.
I'm on my phone.
Yes, no, this just adds to the quorum. So thank you. Just wanted to acknowledge the attendance part before we get into any discussion of these applications. So would any of the commissioners wish to initiate some discussion? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion on, each of the applications. We can have a motion that's combined or separate.
I would move that we approve both projects for National Register recommendations there.
And would that be following the criteria A
yes.
for the Rosenwald School and criteria A and C for the Ilseburg residents?
Yes, thank you.
Okay,
I'll second.
Okay, was that Chris Weston who seconded?
Tom.
Or Tom? Tom was the second. Okay, great. Are there any other comments?
I had a quick one. I just want to say, although there was no comments, it's because Caitlin did such a great job explaining everything through this. I know it's kind of weird hearing a silence after a presentation for this nomination, but it was very thorough and, fully supportive, which I think we'll see in our votes.
Yes, and it is great to see particularly with the Ilseburg residents, a mid-century modern property added to the National Registry and obviously the Halethorpe School. I believe that already has Baltimore County landmark status, so we already know that it's worthy of a landmark status within the county. So hearing no other discussion, I think we're ready for why don't we do a roll call vote? I know it says voice vote, but I think I would prefer a roll call vote.
Sure. Could we have Raquel, please?
Yes.
Wendy? come back to you, Wendy. Have Lily, please.
Yes.
Chris Parts,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Chris Weston,
Yes.
Jamie,
Yes.
Ed,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
and Wendy, do we have you back on?
Yes,
Great,
yes.
thank you. And could we have Phoebe, please?
Yes.
Great, thank you.
Okay, wonderful. So now we move on to the agenda. Are there any changes to the preliminary agenda?
Nope, no changes.
Okay, great. And then moving on, we will go on to the minutes of the September 11th, 2025 meeting. Are there any proposed changes for the minutes? And if not, or no discussion, I would then call for a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll move that we approve the minutes.
Thank you, Chris Parts. And
Second.
that's John Holman was our second. This we could do as a voice vote. So all in favor of approving the September 11th minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the minutes are approved. Okay. So next we will move on to our consent agenda items. Those are items 4, 5, 10, and 11. And I would ask that staff read the staff recommendations for us.
Great, thank you, Phoebe. So first we have agenda item 4, the Sparks School site. This is a Baltimore County property at 1000 Sparks Road in Sparks, County Council District number 3. And this is a preliminary landmark, the Sparks School site and ruins and setting. And the applicants have proposed to resurface and expand the existing asphalt parking lot. Next, we have the Johnson property at 5173 Viaduct Avenue in Halethorpe, County Council number 1. This is a contributing resource within the Relay County Historic District, and the applicants are seeking Part 2 approval for an in-kind asphalt roof replacement on the main house and cinder block shed, as well as a standing seam roof replacement on the front porch. And next we have the Warren property at 112 Melanchthon Avenue in Lutherville, County Council District number 3. This is a contributing resource within the Lutherville County Historic District, and the applicants are looking to put in a shed, retaining wall, and gravel pad installation. And this property received a letter of approval from the Lutherville Historic Advisory Committee that was submitted to the commission. And finally, we have the Dumbarton House. This is a Baltimore County property at 300 Dumbarton Road in Towson, County Council District number 3. This is also final landmark number 119, the Dumbarton House, and the applicants have proposed various exterior repairs and in-kind replacements.
Okay. Is there any discussion of any of the items? Concerns, questions?
I move we approve them all. Approve the consent agenda as presented.
Thank you, John. Is there a second? Second, that was Chris Parts.
Yes.
Okay. So then we can have a roll call vote.
Can we have Raquel, please?
Yes.
Wendy,
Yes,
Lily,
Yes.
Chris Parts,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Chris Weston,
Yes.
Jamie,
Yes.
Ed,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
and Phoebe, please.
Yes.
Great, thank you.
Okay. So now we will move on to our, let's see, we're past our agenda items for discussion. So our first one is number 6, the Sartor property. If staff could present that.
Great, thank you, Phoebe. So the starter property is located at 2101 Valley Mill Road in Freeland, County Council District Number 3. This is final landmark number 323, the Holly Hillside property, and the applicants are looking to construct a side addition. So the property was locally designated on October 26, 2006 through County Bill number 94-06. The structure is a small two-story stone dwelling with a standing seam gable roof. The application states that utilities, including the hot water heater, washer, and dryer, are currently located in separate outbuildings on property. The applicants propose to construct a 10 by 14 addition on the north side elevation in order to enhance the functionality of the home. The addition will provide much-needed space for a full bathroom, washer and dryer, and storage. The addition will be set back 3 feet and 7.5 inches from the northwest corner of the primary dwelling and will be constructed on the north elevation. An existing 28 by 48 inch window opening on the north elevation will be expanded to fit an interior entry from the living room area to the new addition. The construction will include the following: a gable standing seam Enkler Series system roof in the color charcoal gray to match the existing, James Hardy painted board and batten siding with Hardy trim batten with a smooth texture and Hardy trim soffit with a vented smooth texture. One 2 foot 6 inch by 3 foot 11.5 inch Anderson Series 100 Fibrix single hung 2/2 window will be placed on the north side elevation, and one 2 foot by 1 and 11.5 inch Anderson Series awning window will be placed on the rear. A door thermal sash wood entry will be with a single panel and clear glass will be placed on the facade. And the addition will have a 2 foot wooden stoop that leads down to a new 4 foot stone walkway that will join the existing north-south running walkway to the primary structure and front porch. Overall, staff feels that the proposed addition is appropriately located and set back from the primary structure, and that the materials are in keeping with the character of the home, and that the scale and massing of the addition is subservient to the primary structure. So staff's recommendation is to vote to issue a certificate of appropriateness as proposed, citing Baltimore County Historic Design Guidelines, Chapter 6, New Construction, Additions, and Non-Contributing Structures, County Code Section 32-7-405. And we did not receive any written testimony or have any members of the public register to speak on behalf of this item, but we do have the project representative with us, Mr. Andy Nyazi. I have you unmuted, sir, if there's anything you'd like to add to our summary.
No, I think you summed it up pretty good. You know, our goal was just to try to tuck this little addition in and make it feel, make it feel like it wasn't trying to take over, the original structure. And so, if you guys agree we succeeded, I welcome approval.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Sarter, I just saw you as well. Have you unmuted if there's anything you'd like to add?
Nothing to add, just here for any questions. Andy did most of the work, so.
Thank you. So do the commissioners have any questions for the property owner or his representative? Hearing none, is there any other issues that the commission would like to discuss?
I'd like just to say that this is a good example of a good set of drawings, that it's clear how it relates to the existing building. It just, everything is clear, and it's also, I think, a very nice, sensitive way of attaching an addition to this wonderful little gym.
Thank you, Ed. Would you like to turn that into a motion if there are no other comments from the commissioners?
Yeah, I think a motion to approve the addition as proposed and issue a certificate of appropriateness.
I'll second.
Thank you. Wendy, I heard your second.
Mhm.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, then I would call for a roll call vote.
Thank you, Phoebe. Could we have Raquel, please?
Yes.
Wendy,
Yes.
Lily,
Yes.
Chris Parts,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Chris Weston,
Yes.
Jamie,
Yes.
Ed,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
and Phoebe, please.
Yes.
Great, thank you.
Okay, so moving on, I believe our next property is agenda item number 7, the Costa property.
Great. Thanks, Phoebe. So the cost of property at 16223 Corbett Village Lane in Moncton, County Council District Number 3. This is a contributing resource within the Corbett County Historic District. And the applicants have returned with amendments to previously approved detached garage. And this is part of the code enforcement correction stop work notice for CB 2300746. So just to refresh the commission's memory, at its January 16th, 2025 meeting, the LPC approved plans for a 2-car garage with an overall height of 19 feet. Since the January meeting, the property owners have sought the appropriate variances needed for setbacks and height. They were awarded a setback variance, however, not a variance for the 19-foot height. The owners have returned with minor amendments to the previously approved plans to lower the height to 15 feet. Minor adjustments have been made to the sidewalls of the garage to make a steeper roof slope. All roofing and siding materials and window and door styles have remained unchanged. So staff recommends that the LPC vote to approve the height amendment as proposed and to issue a certificate of appropriateness, citing Baltimore County Historic Design Guidelines, Chapter 6, New Construction, Additions, and Non-Contributing Structures, County Code Section 32-7-405. And we did receive a letter from Mr. Andrew Crosby, as well as have 3 registered speakers for tonight. So first we'll open with Mr. Crosby. And Caitlin, if you could pull up the visual that was submitted. Great, thank you. And so Ms. Altman, I have you unmuted on behalf of Mr. Crosby.
Yeah, good evening, Madam Chairman. Due to some technical difficulties, I've been unable to give oral testimony for the past 2 meetings. I would respectfully ask that I be given an extra 50 seconds to allow me to be somewhat articulate.
Sure, I can allow that.
Great, I appreciate it. The following was submitted in writing, but if the commissioners' workdays are like mine, they may not have had the opportunity to review. I thought belts and suspenders the best course. The plans submitted by the Costas for review this evening conform with the administrative hearing officer's 15-foot maximum height decision. However, they are at odds with the previous testimony and declarations from Mr. Costa and recommendations by several architectural professionals on the commission. At the last hearing on this matter in January, Mr. Costa submitted numerous photos of homes and ancillary structures in the village illustrating their steep roofs. He stated that it was his wish and desire to keep his garage similar in appearance, hence his request for a 19-foot structure to allow a steeper pitch. Mr. Horde, Mr. Weston, Ms. Mundorf were quite definitive in their positions that the roof slope of the proposed structure be more in keeping with the main house on the property and typical village construction. Therefore, they concurred with and voted in favor of the 19-foot structure with a 7/12 pitch. Based on documents submitted by the Costas to the commission on another matter, the existing house on the property has now been determined to have a pitch of 10/12. Although no pitch is delineated nor soffit dimensions provided, the plans submitted this evening appear to incorporate a roof pitch of less than 4.5/12. I see no similarity or continuity between the 4/12 pitch proposed and the Costa's main structure or other structures in the village. With the assistance of a licensed and registered architect, I have prepared a submitted rendering for the commission illustrating a garage that provides adequate clearances for an oversized SUV and a Ford F-350 truck requested by Mr. Costa during the zoning hearing. More importantly, it provides a roof pitch of 712, which is more in keeping with the Commission's previous request. Mr. Costa's testimony and village precedent. I am a 40-year construction professional, having actually served as the construction executive on several buildings designed by Mr. Hord's firm. My plan incorporates means, methods, and materials which are standard to the construction industry and are not unusual or extraordinary features. I hope that my rendering illustrates the fallacy put forth by Mr. Costa and his surveying professional during the zoning hearing that a 15-foot tall garage with a steeper pitch was, quote, impossible and, quote, can't be done. It obviously can be and should be done. Though the Costa's request for a setback variance was approved, the structure I proposed could make the decision moot, as the garage could be constructed on the west side of the existing concrete pad, creating an additional 5 feet of property line clearance. While the Commission has previously stated that it is not in their purview to weigh in on zoning regulations, I trust that a structure not at odds with zoning standards and established village configurations would be viewed favorably not only by the Commission, but by the Costas as well. I have not seen a landscape screening plan with the Costa's latest submission that I believe the Commission requested at the last meeting. It appears from the site plan included in tonight's submission, as well as the site plan submitted with the Costa's plan for their home addition, that Mr. Costa intends to keep the excess concrete block retaining wall and 20 by 26 foot concrete pad and foundations previously installed and adjacent to the south end of the garage. I would ask that these features be removed and screening brought closer to the proposed structure where it will be most beneficial for its intended purpose. The administrative hearing officer made a statement during the hearing that the zoning process is prospective in nature. Again, repeat, prospective in nature. This same doctrine should also be applied to the matter before the Commission. I trust that all members of the Commission and the staff have and will continue to conduct their review accordingly. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. We have other speakers.
Yes, Ms. Christina Altman, you are still unmuted.
Okay, thank you. I wanted to make sure that my written testimony was distributed. It has several photographs of the Corbett roof pitches, so I'm referring to that. So I sent that in time and mentioned that I'm having both written and verbal testimony. So was that?
I don't think we got that, no.
I'm sorry, Ms. Altman, I don't believe we received your
Yes,
written
I
testimony.
emailed it. Yes.
I will go back and check, but I don't believe that I had it.
Yeah.
I will check on that.
And I sent it like a couple of days prior so that it will certainly be there before deadline.
I will check that. Thank you.
While Jessica's checking that, you can please go ahead with your oral testimony.
Yeah, so I'm referring to this, photographs and some comments which I have printed. So
Okay.
I strongly urge the LPC to reject the Costa's latest proposal due to its unfitting too flat roof pitch. The current application states this modification allows for steeper roof angle, which is more in keeping with the surrounding structures. De facto, the current roof pitch is very little different than the flat roof version, which was specifically rejected by the LPC last January. For the court hearing, we had to have all the LPC meeting discussions legally transcribed. I have included in my written testimony comments from those meetings. Several commissioners emphasized that the roof pitch should be compatible with the houses, in keeping with the character of the construction of the village, and that the 712 pitch roof has the massing of an agrarian building. These are direct quotes of commissioners. A significant reason for this current too-flat roof design is the fact that Nate Costa has not wanted to decrease the depth of his first floor. It is still 26 feet instead of normal 24 feet. I have made an Adobe Photoshop rendering about 24-foot garage with a 712 roof pitch. I have included in my written testimony photos of Corbett's sharp roofs. In the court hearing, Nate Costa himself justified his 19-foot height variance request by his design's sharp roof, and even showed aerial photos of Corbett's roofs, arguing that his garage must have a sharp roof pitch like all other Corbett buildings. Nate Costa is firmly boxed into his illegal garage's first floor. Although the unlawful structure has regrettably become a landmark itself, which many people have arrived to marvel even from far outside of Corbett, it is not yet and hopefully never will be a historic landmark. I encourage the LPC to think out of the box and not to be imprisoned in the garage remnant. Are we protecting an illegal construction's partially demolished back wall when the goal should be to protect the historic village? It would be very strange if the commissioners suddenly now change their opinions about the suitable roof pitch. Finally, in the court hearing, over 50% of Corbett's property owners had legal representation to oppose the height variance. The village community was very unified, and there was only one property owner supporting the Costas. Property ownership is very relevant. There was significant worry about decreasing property values if the historic village gets defiled. The LPC staff has multiple times brought up mix of support and opposition. The Costa parents have been steadfast supporters, but they are not property owners. However, they have never missed an opportunity to praise their son's designs as only a mother can. And I repeat, the LPC should protect our historic landmark village and not an illegal construction's partially demolished back wall. Thank you. And I have pictures of the Corbett roof pitches, including Nate Costa's own aerial photographs.
Ms. Altman, I've just checked through all of our email files and I'm not seeing the attachment for your written testimony, but if you're able to forward that to me
Yes.
as soon as we can, then we can share that after Mr. Clemens' testimony.
Oh, and this.
Okay, so then moving on now to Mr. Clemens' testimony.
Sure, and I'll look out for your email. Great, thank you. So Mr. Clemens, I have you unmuted whenever you're ready.
Okay. My name is Andrew Clemens, and I'm here to ask that you reject the current Costa plan for their garage. While the plan has lowered the height of the roof to the 15-foot zoning limit, the roof pitch we see now was rejected once by this commission already because it is not steep enough to match the other houses in the village, and it should be rejected again. Mr. Crosby went into that in detail much better than I can, but I will say that basically the only reason why we're seeing that pitch is because Mr. Costa is trying again to salvage anything and everything he can from his illegally built structure. It is not the LPC's mission to help Mr. Costa salvage his building. It is your mission to protect the integrity of the Corbett Historic District. Now, about the fourth or fifth meeting, one of the members of the commission asked why Corbett was on the landmarks list. Nobody answered. It seemed like nobody could answer. Even the staff said, I don't have that in front of me. Well, Corbett is on the National Register and the landmarks list because it comprises a cohesive group of buildings reflecting the village's importance as a local, commercial, industrial, and transportation center at the turn of the century. And every huge addition that the LPC approves, every new building with an incorrect roof pitch or zoning variance undermines the very reason why Corbett was put on the Landmarks Commission list. You do that and you are destroying the cohesiveness of the district. It's not always about just the architecture, it's also about the history. The majority of the citizens of Corbett ask that you respect the history of this village and reject this latest proposal. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Clements. So Jessica, just an update in terms of whether you got the
So
photos?
we've just received the the email. So let me just forward that to Caitlin. And Caitlin, when you have a chance, if you could pull up the Word document.
Okay, so while we're waiting for those, is the Mr. Costa or any other representatives for the Costas present on the call? I'm assuming so.
I don't believe we have the Costas on tonight. We do have a call-in user, but I'm not sure. Usually their names appear
I
on
see
the attendees
it
list.
says Nate Costa.
Nate's
on
on
the-
there.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, I thought I did
Thank
see
you,
him.
thank you. Mr. Costa, I apologize. I have you unmuted.
I'm here. Thank you. I just will add just a couple of things real quick. Is that the roof pitch is not the same as somebody just previously stated. We lowered the walls almost 2 feet to increase the roof angle. And the most important thing to me, as I've stated numerous times, is that this is something that this historic committee feels meets the guidelines. And if this doesn't meet your guidelines, I look to hear what your thoughts are, that we could meet your guidelines. And I would say I am trying to salvage as much of what I was built, not because of costs, because I've already spent a generous amount of money to take down what I did illegally build, which I wish I could go back in time and cannot. I would like to have a garage that is as large as possible. And again, I leave that up to this committee to tell me what your guidelines are that you would like for me to have for this garage. And I will more than gladly do another revision to hit those guidelines that you have.
Thank you, Mr. Costa. It's just to clarify, are there any other representatives in terms of architect with you on the call as well?
No.
Okay, thank you.
We have Miss Altman's
photos. Okay, that's what I was going to ask, whether
So,
we were
yeah.
ready for Ms. Altman's photos or if we were ready for
Let me
discussion
just-
from the commissioners.
Let me just share it. Hold on, I got so many things open on my two computer screen.
I may have not sent it because I was
Okay, so we have them now, Mrs. Altman. So we're gonna take a look at the images. It's a little small on the screens to view, is it? But okay, yeah, thank you. That's good to have one page at a time.
If there's any particular image you'd like to bring the commission's attention to.
Yes.
Yeah, Ms.
Yes, if you scroll down, you can see the photographs of Corbett's roofs. Keep going, there are photographs of the Corbett roofs further down.
Okay.
And it push this on.
Okay, thank you. That's very helpful to have seen those. Thank you for submitting them, even if it was delayed. Luckily, we were able to view them in the course of the meeting.
Thank you.
Okay. So now I would open it discussion to the commissioners if they have questions for Mr. Costa.
This is Wendy McIver. Mr. Costa, what do you think about Mr. Crosby's proposal to get the steeper roof pitch, but also to be able to give you the room to put your vehicles in the garage?
It is hard to see that, but if that meets the guidelines, then I'm at, this is, I don't know what number meeting this is, but I'm looking for your feedback on what it is that you feel meets the guidelines of the historic.
Yeah, so in order to get the steeper pitch, would the walls need to be lowered further?
If it's remaining the same length and width, yes.
And I have a question, I guess, maybe of committee members. I think I do feel the 7 and 12 pitch is important. I'm not sure if it's critical that it's a symmetrical pitch. I don't know how folks feel, but if you were to keep the front wall where the garage door is at a height that allows a 7/12 pitch and have the backside be slightly asymmetrical longer, but it would drop to a lower wall in the back if that's anything that folks feel is agreeable, or if the symmetry of the pitch and the roof is critical.
And the two things that my architect and I talked about was that, and then also adding dormers, so the dormers could have the steep pitch would break up the roof also from the front side.
Mm-hmm.
Other commissioners, particularly our fellow architects, have additional discussion points or thoughts, comments?
This is Lily Mundroff. I have I guess just a question. If we are seeing these drawings come back as revision with the roof, I'd like to see like an updated site plan that maybe addresses also one of the questions that I believe the testimony said about the low wall, partially the demolished building remaining. So it's a little bit unclear as to what is currently there and what is the final, what are we approving as a final correction? And
yeah.
I would also add, and I know that this kind of fell off of the timeline, but we approved part of an addition for this house, correct? And I know that the site plan needs to show all of that. So it would be nice to have a complete, what is the final layout of the whole site going to look like with the garage, where it's set and all of that, and any site walls or things like that.
Yeah, just for clarity on the, I guess the statement that made the assumption that there was going to be concrete walls, that is not the case. We said a clear flat pad. So there's a concrete pad that's 26 by 48. And so in our site plan that is submitted, you can see the drawing of the flat concrete. There are existing walls there, but all of that is going to be taken down.
Okay.
And what's currently shown is a 30 foot wide, and so that would leave a 18 by 26 concrete pad. That we also said that we were going to put, trees and plants in front of that to block the view of it.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that. Other commissioners have questions, comments about the design, what we'd like to see?
I have a comment.
Thank you, Ed.
I think Chris's suggestion is interesting. I think you could combine that with lowering the front wall down from 10 feet to 9 feet, which is not as low as Mr. Crosby's suggestion of an 8-foot bearing. I think 8 foot's pretty low to try to get a beam and get the garage doors in and put a F-150 pickup truck into it. So I think bringing it down a foot could work. Instead of a 10-foot bearing point, make it a 10 or an 8, make it a 9, something in the middle. And I think that could help get the back. If you did the asymmetrical pitch, I think that could work.
Yeah, what do other commissioners feel about the asymmetrical roof?
One other
Yeah, I'm
idea.
hearing some unease there, Wendy, in your.
Yeah, I'm having trouble visualizing it.
Yeah, I kind of tend to, not an architect, so.
I'm not either, so maybe that's why. But
yeah, could some of the other commissioners weigh in on that? Maybe those who are architects. Or not architects.
I can give one of them the annotate option, and they can sort of draw it on there.
That would be helpful.
So Chris Parts, I give that to you if you want.
I think this whole process on this house has been asymmetrical. And so somehow I think it suits a solution that with a little asymmetrical roof on it. And I feel like I can visualize it enough to feel comfortable with that idea.
Yeah, I've not seen examples of asymmetrical within, just thinking about the village as a whole and design of the whole. I think we do need to keep that in mind rather than this process of the numerous meetings that we've had over this property. I think we need to keep the big picture of the.
because didn't we have one of the views previously that was asymmetrical that we
didn't like?
rejected? Right. I think I remember that. What about Mr. Crosby's idea of moving it to the other end of the pad?
What is on the other end of the pad?
Nothing.
I believe it is already his currency.
Yeah, I think, Wendy, let's keep our discussion at this point to the roof pitch. That's what's before us now. We've already kind of made our decision about the placement. So this is really just a roof pitch discussion.
Okay, I thought that was involved in that as well. I'm sorry.
Let me kind of force the issue a little bit. I move that we accept an asymmetrical roof plan along following the guideline of Mr. Horde and Mr. Parts, where the front entry part is 9 feet and the back is approximately 8 feet.
I would say that we would need to see that drawing to approve it.
Yes.
Thank
you. I think so too.
So John, you're willing to withdraw your motion?
Well, it'll die for lack of a second.
Okay, there we go. I'm not hearing a second.
I would
where we were on it, that's all.
I think that we should vote on this, and then if it turns out that Mr. Costa has to come back with a new roof, then
comes back with a new roof.
Yeah, we'll be at meeting 10 on this project, and so be it.
Okay, well, Chris, do you want to turn that into a motion?
I would make a motion I'm going to make a motion to approve the garage as submitted.
Are there any seconds for that?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear. Approve it as submitted?
Yeah,
yes, my motion is to approve the garage as submitted.
And, okay, got it. All right, so I'll second that.
Okay, so commissioners, any further discussion on approving the current roof pitch as submitted?
And so just to be clear, if we decline to approve it, then we are asking him to come back with
a different roof pitch. Yeah, either asymmetrical or symmetrical, but lower lowered walls.
Better pitch, right?
But yeah, better pitch.
Are we ready for a vote, Phoebe?
Any other comments, questions from the commissioners?
I just wanted to say one quick thing, just
Thank
on
you.
the aspect of the testimony for the historical aspect. When that was brought up before, I've been to the site, and as a history and non-architect person, I just want to reassure people giving testimony, we don't take anything lightly. I went to, even though I was on the committee that went and visited it during one of these many previous meetings, I've gone to it, and I'm sure a lot of us have read up on the district itself. It's a very unique and beautiful district. I mean, I love those houses as you enter in that little narrow, windy street going up the hill. But just, to reassure the people giving testimony, it isn't taken lightly. And on the history end of things, we all enjoy and study that as well.
Thank you, Daniel. Any other comments before we go for a roll call vote? Okay, hearing none. So as a reminder for the commissioners, if you're voting yes, you are voting to approve the design as submitted. If you vote no, then that would ask the Costas to come back with a revised plan.
Can I ask one question?
Yes,
to-
Lily.
Sure. Okay. Can whoever voted to approve it, can you just weigh in on the reasoning behind the decision? Is that something that is allowed to note, just as a?
I think that really should be part of our discussion before our vote. So if there are people who are, intending on voting yes for the motion, were you just asking Lily for the kind of why approval, justification for approval? Or are you also interested in people who might not want to approve this? Maybe you can start with yourself, Lily.
All right, I will vote yes, and that's my reason being, I think it's a very simple roof, and so it doesn't bother me that the slope is not exactly matching the house. It's consistent, it's a typical roof and low slope, and so I don't have a problem with the height. Even though it's different and the slope is different from the main house, I don't have a problem with it.
Personally, I thought it looked much better when it was a taller structure. I'm voting yes for it right now, really as a procedural matter, just to move the meeting forward.
Yeah, it's Robert's Rules of Order. We can at least get the ball rolling on more discussion and having it rejected and brought back.
Okay, any other commissioners wish to justify why they would vote yes?
I would vote yes, just because it's a garage. I'm not sure if the pitch really matters that much in the whole scheme of things. That's how I feel. So yeah, I vote yes.
Sort of building on that a little bit. It's a secondary building. It's not attached to the main house, and it's not a matter that every roof on a property needs to march in lockstep.
Okay, thank you, Tom. Any other commissioners wish to comment? Hearing none, then let's proceed with our roll call vote.
Great, thank you. Could we have Raquel, please?
Yes.
Wendy?
No.
Lily?
Yes.
Chris Parts?
No.
Okay. John, please.
No.
Dan?
No.
Chris Weston?
Yes.
Jamie?
No.
Ed, please.
No.
Tom?
Yes.
And Phoebe, please.
No.
All right. I believe that dismisses the motion. Do we have a new motion to put forward?
We could just ask Mr. Costa to come back with a new design.
That was my motive.
Yeah,
Yeah, we don't need to put it forward.
we're not going to design
This one
the
did
roof for
not
him.
pass. Yeah.
Gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying
So,
that.
yeah.
Okay.
So thank you. So Mr. Costa, we will see you again with another design addressing the roof pitch. If you have questions, you can direct those to staff, and hopefully next time we'll get this done.
All right. I'll talk to you guys next month. Thank you very much.
See you in a month.
Thank you. All right.
Okay, so now moving on to the agenda item number 8, the Maggioi property. This is Wall Avenue, 37A Wall Avenue in Glendon.
Yep. So this is a non-contributing resource within the Glendon County Historic District, and the applicants wish to install several solar panels. So the property is a single-story, circa 1958 ranch-style dwelling with a single-story attached garage and a two-story rear addition. The property is uniquely located at the northmost edge of the Glendon County Historic District and is to the immediate south of the Glendon National Register Historic District and the stone entry gate to the Emery Grove Hotel and Tabernacle. Staff would like to note that a two-story detached garage or accessory structure is located southwest of the home off of the asphalt driveway, and no work is proposed to this secondary structure. So the applicants propose to install 4 segments of solar paneling along the front roof slopes of the main structure. So be R1 on top of the attached garage addition, R3 along the rear roof slopes of the attached garage, R2 along the two-story rear addition, and that would be the rear roof slope for R4. So our guidelines state that solar panels should be installed on the rear roof slopes or in rear additions, accessory structures, or on structures that cannot be viewed from the public right-of-way. Staff feels that this property is highly visible from the public right-of-way along Wall Avenue, and solar panels on the front roof slope are not an appropriate choice for the home or the historic district. Staff feels that an alternative proposal that only has panels on the rear roof slopes or panels on accessory structures would be more appropriate. Staff asked the commission to discuss the panel placement, additional panels on the rear roof slopes, or options for possible ground-mounted solar panel installations. Staff recommends that the LPC deny the current proposal as it does not meet our guidelines for solar panel placement and recommend options that do meet our guidelines. So again, staff's recommendation is to vote to deny the placement of the paneling along the front roof slope, which would be R1 and R3, and to remove the rear panel installations at R2 and R4, citing Baltimore County Historic Design Guidelines, Chapter 3, Roofs, and Chapter 8, Strategies for Sustainability, County Code Section 32-7-405.
Just to clarify, the staff recommendation is to approve the rear panel installations?
Yes, so
Okay.
as it's shown as R4 and R2.
Okay, yeah, that I think that wasn't exactly, that was what was on the written recommendation. I just wasn't sure that was what was said. So just wanted to clarify that. Okay, is there any testimony or speakers registered for this property?
So we did not have any testimony or any members of the public registered to speak, and I don't see the project representative with us, but again, we have a call-in number, so I'm not sure.
There's no call.
Oh no, they've left.
You have to refresh. Yeah.
Okay, let's see. So no, I don't think we have anyone with us tonight.
Well, since there are no members of the public or the property owner, then I would open it up to the commissioners for discussion.
I have just a general question. I know our policy is not to allow solar panels. I guess I'm wondering if that's something that we may want to take a look at in the future. There are some products that are out now that are solar shingles that are not just, panels that are stuck on top of the roof, but are, basically a water, a a waterproof or water resistant application that goes directly on a roof deck. And I agree with the staff recommendations there for this property, but it's something that I think we might want to consider for future discussions, or if the owner would want to consider a similar product.
It's definitely something to think about because solar technology changes all the time. And I know that other jurisdictions also deal with it. So that's definitely something that we can look into to see even what other jurisdictions are doing about that. But definitely to note that for.
Great.
I mean, I would love for somebody to propose it because we haven't had that, because
yes,
sometimes then that's when we, have time to do the research and look into that.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely something to think about.
But we could also offer that as a possibility. I mean, the guideline is not to have them, but if we said, please consider the shingle alternative, that would give us that option to look at.
I think that would be more of a recommendation, given that this was a new technology. It'd be kind of a test case. I would want to see more details and give staff an opportunity to research that before making a motion to approve that now when it's not part of the application.
Right. My suggestion would be, well, I'll go ahead and put it in a motion.
Okay, thank you, John.
I move that we approve the staff recommendation with the additional thought that if they want to reapply showing a shingle solar panel for the front, they could please do that.
Can you specify that the staff recommendation is to deny the solar panel as proposed in R1 and R3 locations, but to approve the rear panel installations in R2 and R4?
I don't know if I can remember that again.
It's on the slide if you want to kind of.
Please enter Ms. Latach's comments into my motion and I accept them. Thank you.
Do we have any other comments or second on that motion, or?
I would second that motion.
Okay, we might need to restate it.
Can we have some discussion?
Yeah, yes, Ed.
My concern is that we could look at the shingles and decide we don't like it. So we're not saying bring shingles in and we'll approve it. We will be happy to review a revised application that put them on the back. And if they want to think about other things for the front in a way that keeps it invisible, then that's a possibility. I don't see it, or a ground mounted, which would be another way to do it. But I think we need to follow our guidelines, and our guidelines say nothing.
Yes,
that's the thing we ought to approve. And if they want to come back with some other suggestion, we're open to looking at it, but we wouldn't necessarily approve it.
Yeah, that was my attempt in the. Thank you for that
I know that's
clarity
what
of
you
it.
meant, but I just wanted to
I
didn't want them thinking that
Mr.
okay.
Hord's amendments be added to my motion too.
Okay, we might need to restate the motion just so we're clear on what do you want me to try that for you, John? And you could say, yes, that's what I said.
I don't have that.
Or do you want to try it?
If the drawing was in front of me, I could remember the R2 and R3, but the drawing has left my screen. But
okay, so
we had that.
That your motion, John, was that we vote to follow the staff recommendations to deny the placement of the solar paneling on the front of the roof slopes, which is R1 and R3, and to approve the placement of the rear panel installations on R2 and R4, so those are the rear ones, and suggest that if the property owner wants to revisit additional placement of solar panels, or either using new technologies or in the front or in the yard, that they come back to us within
for new consideration. Thank you, and thank you for your patience with me for a clumsy motion. I apologize to everybody.
That's fine. So Chris is a second, is you
Yes, I
agreeable
still
that,
second.
okay,
Yeah.
great. Any further discussion from the commissioners? Hearing none, let's have a roll call vote.
All right, could we have Raquel, please?
Yes.
Wendy,
Yes,
Lily,
Yes.
Chris Parts,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Chris Weston,
Yes.
Jamie,
Yes.
Ed,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
and Phoebe, please.
Yes.
Great, thank you.
Okay. Now moving on to agenda item 9, the Mecca property at 3611 Blackstone Road in Randallstown.
Great, thank you. So again, the property is a contributing resource within the Fieldstone County Historic District. It was constructed in 1935. The home is constructed with a random coarse fieldstone and board and batten. And the applicant came before the commission at September 11th meeting for a second-story rear addition. The LPC denied that application, citing concerns over stormwater runoff from the proposed roof slope, removal of the rear dormers, and overall scale and massing of the addition. And the applicant has returned with new plans to construct a one-story rear addition. The addition comes off of the rear as a low-sloped roof hyphen that measures 13 feet and 10 inches by 15 feet and 4 inches, which sets back the construction of a 16 by 26 foot addition. The entire addition will be covered in a board and batten hardy plank, and the hyphen will have 4 skylights, centered French doors flanked by 2 windows. The rear portion of the addition will have 4 windows, 1 on the right and left side and 2 on the rear, and will have an asphalt gable roof and color match the existing gable main house roof. So staff asked the commission to discuss the updated plans and to determine if they are appropriate for the structure and historic district, citing Baltimore County Historic Design Guidelines, Chapter 6, New Construction, Additions, and Non-Contributing Structures, County Code Section 32-7-405. And we did not receive any written testimony or registered speakers, but we have the property owner, Miss Jessica Mecca, with us tonight. And Miss Mecca, do you have your architect in attendance?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Fantastic. Thanks for having us again. My husband is here with me as well. We went back to our architect. We took what you had to say last time into consideration, asked her to make some changes, and this is what we have. So we're open to any feedback and willing to answer any questions.
And is your architect with you tonight or no?
No, she is not with us tonight.
Okay. Thank you. So commissioners, do you have any comments, questions, feedbacks for the property owner?
I have one. Oops.
Yes, Ed, go.
I have a concern. I don't believe the roof plan that the architect shows. It shows it sloping down from the ridge line on the existing roof. I'm looking at the roof plan, yeah. So sloping down from the existing roof, if it's sloping down and continues to slope down, then it's going to keep going lower and lower, and it's not going to intersect the existing roof where you show it. I don't know the answer to this. I just think that the place where the intersection of the existing roof and the new roof that says 4 and 12 pitch meets, I don't believe the plan that they show, but it's your problem. I mean, it's not barely visible, so I don't think it matters to me, to the commission, because I think you're meeting the thing, but I don't think it'll be built like this.
It seems like the valleys are missing.
Yeah, I think you've got a cricket there, basically, that you've got another line that comes from the ridge.
The cricket, then I believe it.
Yes, a very large cricket. Yes.
Yeah. So it's a strange, it's a tough situation. Anytime you get something like that with 2 different slopes meeting somehow, it's going to require a cricket, which is going to dump a lot of water at that one corner. But you know, it's just beware is the thing that if there's any place that's going to leak in your house, I would predict that's it. But
Oh, okay. Thank you. I appreciate that feedback. And we're just going off of what our architect you know has drawn up. So
yeah,
I think they have a mistake in the drawing of the roof plan as between where the existing roof is and how it meets the other roof. And they need to resolve that before it gets under construction, or you'll have something that'll be wildly different than what you're thinking it's going to be. It's hard to see it because none of the real elevations show it. It's pretty much hidden behind the new addition. So,
Caitlin, could you show slide 69?
yeah, that doesn't show it. It's the roof on the other side.
The other
yeah, it's
side.
hidden there.
And it doesn't show it on there because it's between.
It's hidden again.
It's
by
hidden
that
again.
side of the roof. So it's that area between the roof that you
Yeah.
see and the other roof. So it's not
You can-
something you can see. And I don't, from the historic perspective, my only concern is if it leaks a lot and causes a lot of problems, then you know does it damage the existing historic?
On that rear elevation, if you take a line straight across horizontally from the peak of what it says line of rear roof beyond, you would have a line that would come horizontally to meet that this roof over here. So that, you know, basically that whole area would end up draining down as a cricket.
Yeah.
But there's definitely a horizontal line that would happen across there in order to drain water out of that valley.
If that happened, it would be fine. I wouldn't
Yeah.
bother me at all. Because it's basically invisible. It's behind, it's behind three roofs.
Mm-hmm. And I guess
my only comment, it's just really a warning to the owner to make sure the architect resolves that for you in a way that works.
And to your point, Ed, it might be worth just taking a look at the height of that connector there. You might even want to raise that up just a little bit, but that's probably pending. You know, I assume that in this dormer here, you've got a window that you're trying to keep a line below there. So it might just require a little bit of study, but I think if you address that, you know, I think that's a good point that Ed made. That address that concern. I think that'll help, you know, avoid headaches in the future for you all.
I think it's resolvable, but you
Yes.
need to do it now, not during construction.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Commissioners have other, I mean, that was addressed. My main concern was related to where the water was going to go on the roof line. Are there other commissioner comments regarding, you know, feelings about this design versus what came before us last time in terms of that, you know, is the applicant going in the right direction with this, assuming that the architect can resolve the roof line water issues?
I think this is much better than before. I think it's vastly improved.
Great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, other commissioners have comments along those lines?
I'm in Ed's camp.
Yeah, no, me too. Okay.
It looks nice, but I don't know about the roof lines and so on.
Yeah, our non-architects are relying on the
Right.
architects on the commission to tell us that, that there can be problems with water.
Yeah, that would be a real red flag for me.
Yeah. So now seems like there's some general consensus in terms of common concern, but generally liking the direction of this design. That just may need some slight tweaks and modifications to resolve the roof line water issue. Is there any other comments or before we entertain a motion?
I had just one additional comment, and I think that there might be a couple of different siding types that are on there. But if you take a look at photo 5 from the original building, there is a I think a board and batten vertical siding that runs vertically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering whether you want the shake siding
So,
at the top of that,
so
or
we actually, I asked her to remove the shake siding, and when she
okay,
returned the plans to me, it just didn't get back in time for me to submit
okay,
to the
that's my
commission, but it will all be vertical
okay.
board and
I
batten,
think that's more
similar to
consistent
that
with what
picture
we have.
there. Yeah.
Great.
Yep.
Thank you for catching that, Chris.
Hmm.
Any other comments, questions for the property owner before we entertain a motion? Okay, hearing someone like to make a motion.
I'll make the motion
Thank you, Chris.
to approve the plan as proposed, with a caution to the owner to resolve the roof slope with their architect. I think they can get it to work. I don't know that we need to see that again, but I would approve the plan as appropriate as proposed.
So Chris, would that include bringing the final plan to staff?
No, I don't think they need to come back.
I don't think the staff needs to see that. Yeah. And I mean, if there are material changes in terms of, dimensions and such, then it's probably worth bringing it to staff. But I think it's really working out the roof slope issues and addressing that, just with their architect. The massing that has been proposed is there. I think there's just a line or two that's missing on the roof plan.
Okay. Staff, would you like to have final drawings? Does that make a difference?
If Miss Mecca, if you have the ones that show the board and batten all the way up to the top, I'd like to have those just on file for when you do pull in your go to your permitting so that it matches.
Okay.
Right.
We'll do that.
And if you do end up revising the plans for the roof line, it wouldn't hurt to send them staff, even if we're not requiring it.
Okay. Yep, we can do that.
Okay. Okay, so Chris, you have a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Ed. Any further comments, questions from the commissioners? Hearing none, then I'll call for a roll call vote.
Great. Can we have Raquel, please?
Yes.
Wendy?
Yes?
Lily? Chris Parts?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Chris Weston?
Yes.
Jamie?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
And Phoebe, please.
Yes.
Great, thank you.
Okay, so now moving on to agenda item 12, the Rogney House, and this is 14941 York Road. I believe this is the Blacksmith House. We've split this property into 2 agenda items, so this will be the first one.
Yes, thank you, Phoebe. So the property at 14941 York Road is a 2-story frame structure, formerly the blacksmith shop, constructed in 1880. The structure is clad in German wood siding with a 2-story 1910 rear addition and single-story side addition. Both the 1910 additions are clad in board and batten siding, and Google imaging from 2018 through 2023 indicates that major exterior alterations were made to the primary structure without LPC review and property permits. The work included the following: covering the German wood siding on the primary structure and board and batten siding on the rear and side additions with vinyl siding, replacement of previously existing windows with vinyl, and they were a mix of 6/6 wood sashes, 4 pane wood picture windows on the front elevation, and 6/6 wood sashes and 4/4 wood sashes on the north side elevation. Alterations to the window door openings on the front elevations include a 1 second-story floor window opening made smaller. This is on the left side, altering the window style on the first floor from a 4-pane picture window to a larger 6/6 style, and a door replacement. Then on the north elevation, the enclosure of a window opening on the second story, the creation of a new window opening on the second story, and the alteration of window sizes on the second story, as well as adding a door opening that previously existed and was enclosed under prior ownership with a fiberglass door, and the applicant submitted an interior photo showing the door enclosure. Altering window styles on the first floor from a pair of 2 4/4 to single 6/6 windows, a door replacement and enclosure of a transom, adding mini split duct system. And on the south side, 1910 edition, this was previously consisted of vertical plank siding and a carriage style door. This was covered with vinyl and then added a single entry door and window. So the commission reviewed this work at the February 13th, 2025, May 8th, and July 10th, 2025 meetings. At the meetings, the commission asked that the structure be returned to its previous conditions. The applicants have returned with the following work items to correct these issues. So for siding, all the vinyl siding was removed in May 2025. The applicants wish to repair the original German wood siding and replace in kind with 7 1/4 by 9/16 by 7-foot primed wood nickel gap shiplap siding as needed. The application does not provide information on any repairs or replacements to the board and batten siding on the rear and side additions, and staff asks that the commission please clarify this with the applicant. For windows, the applicant proposes to replace the existing vinyl window replacements on all elevations with wood 6/6 double hung windows, and additionally is proposed to reinstall previously enclosed window openings with wood windows. The work will also include adjusting the second level window opening on the front facade to its original size, but no information on if the windows will be simulated divided lights was provided. And again, staff asked the LPC to clarify this with the applicant. For the doors, the applicant proposes to remove the 3 fiberglass door replacements and install 3 panel and glazed wood doors with 9 light grids to better match the door style that previously existed. Staff would like to note that while the proposed door is an appropriate choice for the west elevation, the front facade, it does not match the previous style on the north elevation. The previous door on the north elevation was a 4-panel colonial style wood door with a 3-light transom. The proposed panel wood doors with 9 light grids do not match the previously style on the north elevations, and the proposed transom is a single pane window that does not match the previous 3-light transom. Interior images provided by the applicant show a previously enclosed entry on the north elevation that was reopened, and staff does not have any issues with this reopening of the previous entry, but asks that the commission clarify the dimensions with the applicant. Staff supports the return of the previous window and door opening styles and materials, and asks the commission to discuss the new window openings and determine if they are appropriate for the structure. So staff's recommendations are to vote to issue a certificate of appropriateness for work item 1, siding as proposed, and vote to approve work item 2, windows and doors, with the following conditions. First, that all wood window replacements must be simulated divided lights, that transom window on the north elevation should have 3 divided lights, and that the north elevation door style should be a 4-panel colonial style instead of the proposed, citing Baltimore County Historic Design Guidelines, Chapter 2, Windows and Doors, Chapter 4, Exterior Walls and Foundations, County Code Section 32-7-405. And we did not receive any testimony or registered speakers for this item, but we do have the property owner with us. Mr. Gregorian, is this you shown
Yes.
as Ando? Great, thank you.
Yes.
And do you have your project representative with you?
They're actually on a family leave right now, and they
Okay.
asked us to be on this ourselves, if possible.
Sure. And is the other attendee Karen?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Karen
Yes.
Marutin, he's my partner, and
Great. Perfect. I have you. Great. I have you both unmuted. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Hello, committee. Thank you so much for giving us an opportunity again to come back. This time, hopefully, with the appropriate things needed to return everything back into its original look. We were working very, very hard to make sure that it does meet the historical standards and the contents that we install it with, in the upcoming future. And so, if we can go back to Jessica did such an amazing job. She went through everything so quick, and my brain doesn't work as fast. but I do have all of the answers that you guys want, hopefully. And I do want to, make sure that, this is not the last time that we're going to meet. Obviously, we're probably going to meet a couple of more times because the property will definitely need, more, updates and upgrades and things that the historical committee will be happy with, and that we'll be happy with, and the community will be happy with. So in terms of the 14941 York Road, we removed the siding, bringing it back to the original German wood siding. As you know, all of the windows and doors have been, removed and destroyed. And so we had to find, a supplier who will supply us the specific windows and doors that are needed for our project, which is very limited to, German wood or wood windows and doors. And so, in terms of some of the openings that I wanted to discuss with you that was made shorter, like in the front of York Road, 14941, the window that was small, obviously we're going to bring it back to the original size. In terms of the door, I believe Jessica said that, the front door is a like for like that we've gotten or we've tried to, and we would love your input on that as well, and or guidance, for anything that would come up tonight. Before we move on to the side elevation of this property, I'd like to just mention that we have this, and I wasn't here on the last meeting, and I do apologize about that. I was waiting for this meeting so much that, believe it or not, I overslept it, and I only remembered it at 3 a.m. in the morning, and I'm like, shoot, I was not on the meeting. And I believe some of the things that over here on 14941 were approved. So I do not want to get us confused onto what was approved and what was not. But we do have this this barn door that was here before, where we did install a new door and the new window. We would like to ask, me and my partner would love to ask you guys to have us keep this the way it is, with the appropriate wood windows and wood doors. Moving on to the side elevation, if we may, so that way I could see the picture. Yeah, it's better to explain it this way. As you have accepted out
proposed picture.
the proposed picture, it should be the plan, right? So if we go all the way down, we will see the plan. One more down. No, all the way. Yeah, there we go. So, excuse me. So the door all the way to the right, as you guys have approved the entryway. The door itself, again, is a wood door, as you guys have requested. The window depicted here on this picture is not the actual window that's going to be there. If we go back to the material list, and we're talking about the first floor all the way to the right. Oh, actually, it is. I apologize. It is. So it's the J Weld 5500 double hung window. I was just mistaking on the
Have we lost?
the difference between these double hung windows and then the window that is in the front. So previously, the windows were a storefront window, which is a single glass, right, with the wood around it. And so that's what we have done for that one. And these are right here on York Road on the side elevation. We have the two double hung windows on the first floor level, and then on the second level, we are going to replace back the windows that we removed before and install the double hung window there. And we also made two new openings that were made already. And we will please you guys if you guys could please help us get this approved, because the openings are there, and we can, it's going to be the same type of window. And once you review the window details and the diagram, you will see. Over here on the first floor on the side elevation to the left door, that door, as Jessica mentioned, it was only a wood panel door. There was no glass there. To be honest, my argument with that would be, like, if you guys don't approve it, then we would have to just go and get that door. But if we're talking about like 1820s architecture and the front door had that, If you guys can please have us approve like that specific door as well to be with the glass, I think it would match very nicely with the building, and it will still keep the historical character. With this saying, for this house, this is basically pretty much it. Jessica mentioned that 14941 was its own property, but in reality, the 14941 property is divided into two: 14941 and 14943. 14941 being a commercial property space, and 14943, which is the backside of this specific building, connected to residential. This is information that I've learned, and I think I've expressed last time. But yeah, so this backside is somehow connected to the actual other building, 14943. I just wanted you to keep that in mind, guys. And that's basically it for this. I mean, I explained the windows, the doors. You could review the materials, and please do, if there's a suggestion, I'd love to take it. I want this to be a positive and proactive and progressive, meeting, which it has been already for a couple of times. And, moving forward, we see ourselves like, living here, doing business here, whatever is good for it. So I really appreciate you guys, and thank you so much for listening to me for this 14941 property.
Thank you. Do any of the commissioners have questions for the property owners, particularly whether he clarified all of the issues that staff flagged for clarification?
And I do apologize. One more thing I would like to add that I did not add, which I did have in my mind, was the door to the left on the first floor. Right on top of the door, it's a transom window that we had removed before. It was a glass transom window, and we are recommending to put that back in. Thank you.
Okay, commissioners, questions?
Well, I'm unclear what we're reviewing and what we're going to approve or not approve is what's shown on the proposed elevations. Is that correct?
Yes.
Because I thought he was saying something, he wanted to do something different with the doors. I didn't follow it. I don't understand it. If this is what we're approving. So if we approve it, this is what we approve.
Yes.
Okay, the second question I have is, this only shows two elevations of this building. Was nothing changed in the other two elevations?
The other elevations, nothing had been done. Not to my knowledge. I mean, this is how we bought the property, and I mean, aside from our things that we had done to the front, other than that, the back we had not touched. I mean, the only thing I touched. I'm sorry.
And you're not going to touch the back of the
No,
other side?
no.
No changes to that.
No changes to the other side. And I believe we have the images of the side as well. If just
So the other side and back, you have not changed windows. They are the original wood windows in those.
Yes, correct. Yes. Yes, correct. Like the one all the way to the left, second floor on this image, this is the window that we bought the house with. Some J-weld window with but we have not touched anything, and even on the back as well. All those windows are the same, and we have not touched it. There's actually a broken glass there, on the window that we have to fix as soon as possible, but we have not touched anything.
Including the siding on the back and rear?
No.
So what's the siding on the back and rear now? Is that the vinyl, or is that original wood?
No, it's wood. It's the wood siding.
Okay.
If we open up the image, you'd actually be able to see the wood siding drawn on the blueprints.
Okay.
We set it as part of the drawings, all of the elevations.
There are other questions, comments from the commissioners?
Is this for questions for them or comments on what we're seeing here?
Maybe either one.
Okay. Well, I'll continue on then. The front elevation, I'm okay with, the proposed front elevation. The side elevation, I strongly question those two windows that were added. They're a very strange proportion for a double hung. They're very horizontal frames, and I'm not wild about those. So I'd like to hear what other people think.
Would you have questions for the property owner about what the justification is for those new windows?
Sure, yeah. I think they're muted now.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can. Yeah. So did you want to address the two new windows? Why you need those?
You want the real answer? I don't know, but this is how the interior is settling in with those windows being perfectly designed to match the room aesthetics. In terms of the look from the outside, I understand it might look a little bit weird, but actually, when we're looking at the old images, there's only two windows up there, and the property is pretty large, and the property needs a little bit of light and air. And it doesn't look too bad. It does. I mean, honestly, it doesn't really look. It looks pretty good. And once we're done with the new windows and everything matches, it's gonna look so beautiful, and you guys will see that. Yeah, the idea is the interior comes out this way for the windows, but it kind of gives it a style. Like people would stop by and ask, "Oh wow, this is pretty cool. Why is the windows set up like this?" And then they'll look into the historical aspects and be like, "Wow, I don't know." But if you
I'll
guys
ask it, I guess, a question. The size of those kind of horizontal oriented windows is about the same size as double the windows that are being restored. Would you be opposed to enabling those horizontal, sized windows to be replaced with, a pair of windows that would match the same size as those adjacent single ones?
Correct, and that's what it's going to be at the end of the day. The picture here might not depict that, but once we install the same type of double hung windows, which on the second floor, if you notice, we'll have two double hung windows, and we'll have a double hung window X2 or however they say it. But it's going to be the same exact window, window type and design and everything.
What's
I think
submitted?
what Chris is saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, Chris. Do you want to try to reframe it?
I think what Chris is saying is the two ones you're inquiring approval on, those two windows that are new on this proposed side elevation. Chris is saying instead of having it one big window with a fairly strange proportion for a double hung, make it two smaller double hungs in each of those.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is.
But that's not what's proposed.
That's
so
not what's shown, right.
We would be approving based on what you propose, not what you're what you're saying and what you're proposing have to match. And right now they don't seem to. So Chris, did you want to comment in terms of what exactly you're proposing for those new replacement windows that are weird size? What would you think would be better?
So I think if these two windows, this one here and this one here. I'm sorry if I'm drawing with my mouse here, but if each of those were basically a pair of this window type here.
Yes. Yes, exactly what I would like.
Yes. I think that would be appropriate proportionally, and I would not object to that.
Okay. Correct. Yep. If I would add, I apologize. If I would add, just to clarify everything, we are literally on the same page about everything. If we take a look at the windows below on this specific image, it does not depict the exact window that is going to be there, right? If we look at the material list, we have shown you, I believe, three different types of windows for this property, and they were all designated for a specific location. And if you take a look at the material list, You have the first window that comes up, which is the 14941 side, 5500 double hung 2 wide, which is the double.
Right.
That is the one for the first floor and the second floor. And then the one below this, which is the regular double hung, is for the second floor on the side, the second floor on the top. I mean, from the front. Okay. And then the third window that you see here, which is 14941 front window W4 plus W5, those are the 2 storefront windows.
Got it.
Yes.
So just
So
to,
what we're looking for out in the elevation is not what you're, this is very
Correct. It's not
Very-
reflecting the.
I'm
Can
confused.
I make a motion at this point, or no, we're not there yet?
I don't think we're there yet because we haven't addressed the
I just-
transom window either.
I just feel like we're not going to approve this set of drawings as submitted. And what we really need is a picture of what used to be there and a drawing of what's proposed with these corrections on it on the same sheet.
Well, I think we got that in their presentation.
Doesn't
But it's the
A3
wrong windows.
doesn't
The wrong
A3
The
windows
wrong
are
window,
shown.
yeah.
Yeah, that one shows it, right?
Yeah, we have
No,
current, the
Not for the
original,
side.
that's the current.
what they're
That's-
proposing.
There's 4 windows at the top, and it sounds like they're all going to be the same thing.
Yeah.
Right? They're all going to be the same.
That's
single
not
window.
completely clear to me. I agree with you,
Right.
Lily, that they should all be the same.
I think
So
that's
that
what
there
he's
should be 4
proposing.
windows
but-
that are at the top that are all exactly the same height
Right.
and
I
width
agree.
that match the old, you
Yeah.
know, what
I
was.
think they
I
need to
see
come
what
back.
Chris is trying to say. I think we should, if we're not approving them, we should move on with.
I think we should reject them and ask them if they're not showing on this elevation what they're proposing to put in their parts list. I'm not going to sit there and try to imagine what's in the parts list. Come back to us with what you want to do, the way you want to do it, and let's reject it tonight.
But I will say the street front elevation, I think, does reflect what's there.
Yeah, that looks good to me.
Right.
Yeah.
Is the
So-
door a 9 light door? Or is it just
Yeah,
a
good
single
catch.
glass?
Yeah.
And-
it should
and
be-
the-
And a single, it's 1 panel at the bottom, not 2.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I don't know.
So I'll make the motion that we not accept the application as proposed and encourage the applicant to be back in touch with staff who can give the details of the conversation tonight for a reapplication.
So John, just to clarify, would we be rejecting work item 1, the siding as proposed? I didn't hear any comments or questions about that one.
What I was trying to put together, what I was hearing from the other commissioners is they want it all as a package
Well,
rather
okay.
than doing a piecemeal thing. And if I was mishearing that, then I'll accept a revision or.
That's what I think I think we should reject, come back with how you're going to do all the windows and not with, oh, here's the window, but we're really not doing that window. We're going to do something else. I don't want to hear that. I want to see what we're doing in a drawing, an elevation that shows that the building as you're going to do it.
Taking into account what staff actually recommended in terms of all the windows being simulated divided lights, the transom being 3 divided lights.
Nightlight doors.
The door comments from
Yeah.
the staff. I think the staff's recommendations are good. I don't think this meets this. It does not meet the staff's recommendation. So come back to us with a drawing that meets the staff's recommendations, which I think you want to do. It's just not being shown on this drawing, and I want to. It's unclear what's really.
Could we I mean, I guess, could we vote to follow staff recommendations and require that the property owner submit drawings that match that to staff?
I would be fine with that.
Yeah, and have staff review it. As long as it meets the staff's recommendations.
So what I hear you both saying is you're comfortable with piecemealing it then?
No, I think we could just approve it based on staff's recommendations. And if staff thinks that they've met the recommendations, they could approve it. If not, then they could bring it back to us.
So it would be a conditional approval. You're
Conditional
approving it
approval, yeah.
With the conditions that updated drawings with the correct window styles, the correct door styles, with the correct proposed elevation be submitted to staff.
And I think the staff recommendations didn't hit, but I think we discussed here the double windows where those horizontal windows are on the side elevation instead of accepting the horizontal format of what's there now.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I, if I may also add on, if that is possible? Thank you so much for your recommendations. You know, there's so many things that need to get done here, you know, and I really appreciate the actual, you know, concentration that you guys have on detail, which is very important to showcase the historical aspects. We will obviously come back with updated drawings of the exact window that's going to be there on the blueprint. I didn't know that was actually contingent, you know, of the blueprint, because, you know, as you can see in the front, we have done maximally in terms of that. I won't get into the side elevation of the property, but what I would like to just discuss and maybe understand, I mean, are we rebuilding, not rebuilding, are we bringing the building back to 1820s architecture, or
No.
are we bringing the building back to exactly how it was when we first bought the property? You know, exact door style, exact, you know, not one box, but, you know, not two boxes, but one box, you know, all of these things. Like, what's your input on that? Because, you know, I wasn't aware that we have to bring exactly what it was, but at least to the historical requirements. And you know, I'm sure you guys understood what I'm trying to ask.
I think that's kind of a broad discussion for us to have at this moment with the staff recommendations in front of you and the conversations that we've had. I think it's pretty clear the direction the commission is going. But when you're asking a question, whether we're picking a year or a decade, I don't think that's an answerable question by the commissioners.
I call the question. Let's take a vote.
Let's just clarify what our motion is, and I'm not sure that we had a second.
Right, my motion died. So
Okay.
what we're left with is
we need a new
staff
motion.
recommendations.
Okay, so we need somebody to move that.
Chris, maybe you had
Yeah.
a good suggestion.
So
There you go,
I'll
Chris.
move to approve. I think the siding, you know, to restore that to the German board siding is as part of the staff recommendations, and to address the window and door comments by the staff that could be addressed as a revision for staff review. And I think the one piece that was not addressed in the staff comments that was open for commission discussion was the side windows, the request to retain those horizontal formatted windows, and if those would be replaced with a pair of vertical double hung windows matching the size of the new ones proposed for that elevation.
Oh, you mean the original ones, you mean?
Yes, right. I'm sorry. Yes.
So to clarify, it's to vote to issue a certificate of appropriateness for work item 1, siding as proposed following the staff recommendations, and then for work item 2, to vote to approve those following staff recommendations with the conditions that all the wood window replacements must be simulated divided lights. The transom window on the north elevation should have 3 divided lights. The north elevation door style should be a 4-panel colonial style instead of the proposed. And you're then adding the additional condition that the the two new horizontal windows should instead match the original size and scope of the original windows on that side elevation, and that the drawing should be submitted to staff for approval. Is that correct?
Yes, and the horizontal windows, I think they could be a pair instead of a single one of them. Each of those could be a pair of windows instead of just a single window. It's
Okay.
approximately the same dimension.
To maintain the
Overall
opening size.
dimension.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying that part. So we have a motion.
That a motion.
You second that, Ed. Great. So we've got a motion and a second. Any other comments, questions? If not, then let's have a roll call vote.
Sure. One moment. I do see that the applicant noted that he was muted, and I believe he had a question.
Okay.
Yeah, so just wanted to ask in regards to like when we submit the application, Jessica and Caitlin have to make this presentable to you guys, to the committee. I mean, there's documents that we've created, worked a lot of time on in terms of showing it to you guys the way we created, the way we see it. And I noticed that this is maybe the second time that we are getting denied right away, without continuing to keep talking. I just that is just what I wanted to ask is like I have everything
I
here.
think what we've done is we've approved it.
Yeah, the motion is to approve, conditionally approve. So to vote to issue a certificate of appropriateness for the siding as proposed, and then conditional approvals on the windows and doors following the staff recommendations.
Okay.
So
Okay,
you,
no
you
question.
wouldn't have to, what you would have to submit to staff is
Mhm.
drawings that match what we approved, so
Thank you for
that
clarifying.
they know that you're actually, they have a record of what you're actually going to do and to follow it.
Yes, correct. I do apologize. Maybe my
Yeah,
brain is like.
don't let's not go in
Okay.
circles.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I do one more thing before we continue, because we are the next one as well.
Yeah, we'll hear from you again.
Did you guys?
You still there? We can't hear you.
He just went muted.
Yeah.
We have a chance to view that last time, or everything is good with that, right?
Didn't hear half of what you said. So what was
I
the question?
apologize. My internet keeps dying off. I apologize
Okay.
about that. My question is, have you guys reviewed the windows itself, like the windows that we're recommending themselves? Are they good to go?
We had conditions. So the conditions were that all wood window replacements must be simulated divided lights. Transom windows on the north elevation should have 3 divided lights. And then there was the question about the door. North elevation door style should be 4-panel colonial style instead of what's proposed.
Instead, I think we should move on and approve our minutes. If they have questions, go back to staff.
So you can clarify with staff
Be
if
here
you've
all
got
night if
questions.
we don't do
Thank you.
that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, ladies
So
and
okay,
gentlemen. Thank
other anything else before we speak now, or let's call the vote? Great, call the vote. Roll call vote.
Alrighty. Thank you, Phoebe. Okay. Could we please have Raquel?
Yes.
Great. Wendy?
Yes.
Lily?
No.
Chris Parts?
Yes.
John?
No.
Dan?
Yes.
Chris Weston?
He left.
Oh, I'm so sorry. That's right. Jamie?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
And Phoebe, please.
Yes.
Thank you.
I believe the motion carries. Caitlin, can you double check that for me? 1, 2.
I counted 2 of those.
Yeah, so that's 2, and we have 1, 2.
Take Chris Weston out of the quorum.
Okay, so we do have 8 affirmative then. So I believe the motion carries. Alrighty.
Okay, so now we're ready to move on to agenda item 13. Same property owner. This is just the property at 14943 York Road. So this is the main
Yes.
building.
Yep,
If
so
staff would like to present.
great, thanks, Phoebe. So, yes, again, this is part of the same property for the final landmark 367, the Rodney House. So this is a circa 1830 2-story random rubble stone dwelling with a 2-story frame L addition. The previous existing on the property at the rear was a 1-story 1980 garage. And the commission reviewed this work at the February 13th, May 8th, and July 10th meetings of the LPC. So the driveway expansion was part of the correction notice, CB 2400202. And the work completed included a new asphalt that was laid over existing paved areas. Some areas were expanded by paving over previously existing grass or flower beds to be flush with the buildings. The applicant is proposing several work items to undo the paving. Paving will be removed in areas where it runs up to the buildings, and the grass will be returned. The paving will be removed from the front terrace outside of the entrance of the rear addition in yellow, and the previous had a stamped concrete finish. After the paving is removed, a flagstone patio will be installed in the area. The applicant is proposing to install a new bluestone walkway along the side of the side stone retaining way and creating a path from the existing side entrance to the existing stone steps. Staff feels that the updated landscaping work sufficiently addresses the current violations and asks the commission to discuss the proposal. For the hyphen addition and garage alterations, an 18-foot by 5.5-inch trapezoidal hyphen was constructed by September 2023 and connects the east elevation of the rear frame L addition of 14943 to the previously detached garage at its rear. At the July 10th meeting of the LPC, the commission felt the alterations to the garage and addition were not appropriate for the house and asked for updated drawings that either make the hyphen addition more compatible with the primary structure or remove the hyphen. The applicant is now proposing to remove the recent alterations and install a 44-inch by 72-inch wood casement window on the hyphen, and then install a wood 4-panel sliding door, creating a sunroom area and adding a new roll-up style garage door. Staff asked the commission to discuss the proposed changes to the addition and determine if they are more appropriate and compatible with the primary structure. If not, staff asked the commission to provide feedback and suggestions on how to accomplish that. And just to note, the application does not mention any work completed on the north side elevation of the rear addition on the primary stone structure. This work involves siding and window replacements, and this work was mentioned in previous applications, but the commission must focus their review on the work proposed in the current application. So staff's recommendation is to vote to issue a certificate of appropriateness for work item 1, hardscaping, as proposed, and to vote to issue a notice to proceed for the hyphen addition and proposed alterations, or vote to not issue a notice to proceed or a certificate of appropriateness as proposed. Thank you.
Okay, so I think we're ready to, I assume there's no testimony or speakers.
No, we didn't. We
Okay,
didn't.
so now we're ready to hear back from the property owner.
Great. Give me one moment. All right, Mr. Gregorian, I have you both unmuted.
Hello again, lovely commission, historic commission people. Jessica did such an amazing job. I literally have no other words. So as you could see, this is the material list. If we could just go back to the image, I'd like to just, talk through that if possible with the new, yes, correct. So here we had we had previously, done we had 3 doors and like 6 windows here. And you guys had said that, it looks more like a motel instead of a regular 1-story, residential house. And we really, really would love to keep this addition that we drew up, and would love your, your blessing and your approval on that. And in order to answer the question on the motel or whatever it was before, that was not our plan. That was something that somebody created. We never intended for it to be a motel. But after a long, thorough thought over the summer, and after the first review, we decided, this is a residential house, and we're going to keep it as that. And in order to fix what we've damaged before, we've asked to install the casement windows, the wood casement windows, right in the middle on the addition. So it'll just be it'll be a full window there, no entryway or exitway. Then part of the garage, which has the sliding door, and the garage right now that we are asking your approval for. The garage door was previously to the left. I kind of like the design here where the garage door is to the right. Hope that doesn't make a difference on that. And we put a sliding door here in the middle, hoping that this does look like a residential property, a nice established residential property. In terms of the historical aspect for this property, I mean, the historical aspect is only the front of the house with the stones. Everything else was an addition. Just like Jessica mentioned, this garage was built in 1980s. It's how that previous owner wanted it to be, and they came to you guys, and you guys approved it. And it's just this is something that we're looking to do, and we think that it's going to be a very nice, beautiful looking house. And that's basically it on that. If Jessica could please, again, I really apologize. I wanted to know, the landscaping for this house is approved and ready to go, or do we have any more work on the landscaping on this house?
Have to vote on that. So you've put in a proposal. The staff recommendation is to issue a certificate of appropriateness for the landscaping, but the commission has to actually vote on that.
Perfect. If we can open up that picture right there with the red area and the blue area on the image, yes. So previously, the green is what we had previously asked you guys to approve, and you guys said you guys wanted a more grass area. And so, actually, I'm sorry, the blue area was what you guys were looking at last time, and now we're proposing to add the green area here, and it will all be a grass area. It's about, I believe, about like 20 feet out from the wall, from the front of the house. And so the grass area grew a lot, actually. I respect actually the fact that, you guys had focused on the grass and giving the house, natural life to it. And after your review, I mean, we're not losing anything, so we would love to give you that grass area that you guys had asked for. I think it makes the place look a lot better. And so as you can see, the green area is what we are proposing to add here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Commissioners, any additional questions that we want to maybe first address the landscaping? Are there any questions, concerns about the landscaping? Hearing none, I'm going to assume that we'll probably, approve that following staff recommendations. So now let's turn to the hyphen addition and proposed alterations. So maybe Jessica, would be helpful to go back to that picture for our discussion. Commissioners, do we have questions, concerns about the casement windows, the 4-panel sliding door, and the roll-up style garage door?
I think it's just too many things and such a small hyphen. We've got 3 different types of openings. I mean, I'm okay with the garage door because there was one there before, but I think that it ought to just be a string of windows across there and that's it. I think it's just too much. I mean, having a set of ganged windows, casement windows, and then going to, which are bigger than the sliding glass doors almost. I just think it's.
By the way, they are not sliding doors. They are doors that have 4 panels, and they open up. 2 panels open up one way, and 2 panels open up the other way.
It's just something that's historically. I mean,
it says 4-panel sliding door, so that's why we're calling them sliding doors.
Yes.
That's how they name.
So
That's how they named it.
I whatever you're doing, that shape and that thing is just to me way too many things going on, and I think it ought to be more in keeping with the house. I don't know. I welcome what other people think.
So other commissioners have comments?
I'll
Yes,
throw out a,
I agree with that. I think it's,
aesthetically speaking, it's weird. I mean, I agree with Ed that it should be like a string of windows like on the main house on the lower level to the left. You can see
Like on the left, one,
like
two,
four
four
windows in a row. It should be like that.
Yeah.
And then with
Chris,
doors eliminated, it won't look like a motel.
yeah.
Those four
If you were
windows.
to use the size of the windows on the far left, you could do 3 pairs of casements in each of those sections of that addition there. You know, 3 pairs where you've got the casement windows labeled, and 3 pairs where you have the 4 panels labeled, so that you do 3 pairs of windows here, 3 pairs of windows here. And then, if those are the same proportions as those, then you have something that looks, like you've got continuity going across the
Yes, that's
facade.
what it is.
And I think it would tie things together much better.
Thoughts about a door, in case they may want a door somewhere in there?
I'm actually, I was going to just talk about the size of it and the shape of the hyphen, which I was under the impression that we asked them to look at addressing that so it doesn't look like one continuous attachment from the house to the garage. Am I remembering wrong that that was the request we made last time?
I don't recall.
Yes. Yeah, I
I
think it was
do.
split.
I mean, we did want it not to look like a motel, which is what it, that whole string of doors and windows look like. I don't know if we specified
Yeah, it was something
anything
about,
instead.
yeah, I think we talked about stepping the roof back or doing something that it reads as a hyphen, not just from the windows are one thing, but the way it's connected with the house, I thought we had an issue with it too. Because
Yeah,
they
I
were two
remember that.
separate. They were separate, the house and the garage, and then now this is all reads as one volume attached to it. There's no hyphen.
It's far from the front door.
But the
Yeah,
garage
so what?
1980s, 1820s, 1980s.
It's about attaching it. Like it's about hyphen separating, creating enough of a separation between what was existing and what you're putting in as new, and differentiating. So it's not the house extending onto the end of the structure,
It looks like one long addition is what we're hit. The effect is now.
Well, the whole building, if you look at it, after the stone wall is a whole new addition, and then a garage was added after. I mean, who knows? In
steps
50
back
years,
now, right?
in 50 years, somebody's gonna come in and say, okay, I wanna this space where we had the addition and the garage, I want to break it down, and I want to continue building on the 2 stories that I already have, and so many things could be changed. I mean, you guys didn't want the motel look. We removed that completely, and we kept it this way as a sunroom. And what we're gonna do is, our families are very big, so we're thinking about living there as well, and keeping it as like a pool table room, some games, things of that nature. And because of the way the property is, it's a big property, and so we'd love to be able to go in and out and be able to play, and the kids going in and out. That's why we placed those that middle window area, the 4-panel door, so that way we can go in and out, and people could go in and out. So that's why we did it this way. And then we put in the addition, we put the window here because you know, it does, yes, the house looks long. It might look weird, but it does look like a one family residential house, you know. So for some people it might look weird, for some people it might look good, and who knows, and maybe in the 1920s they did build houses, you know, in this type of array, or, you know, way, right? So that's my rebuttal to you guys. Up to you guys, let me know, please.
Well, yeah,
Thank you.
ultimately it is up to us as a commission to weigh in on the historic design guidelines.
Of course.
And how it relates to the existing building.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I think it's a jumble. And if you want a door and you want windows, then put them, there are lots of ways to do that that would look compatible and good. And it just doesn't look
Yeah.
right at all.
Yeah,
But
so
I'm not
it's
happy with the garage door even, but Ed said it was okay, so I'm gonna say it's okay.
Yeah, and
But
you
it
can
just,
put
it
the
just
doors
too,
on the other side, on the rear, out onto the grass.
what workout could you
Oh,
clarify
I
again?
said the doors can be placed on the rear,
Oh, yeah.
and then,
Or
you know,
side.
have access to the
There's no
grass.
space on the
grassy area.
rear. There's no space on the rear.
I think it could be a door there. I mean, I'm not opposed to a door, but I think it ought to be doors and windows, not sliding glass doors, not, you know, doors that are out of proportion with the other doors in the house. I think it ought to be so it's in keeping. It doesn't have to mimic what's there, but if you look at those windows, the pairs of casements, I mean, that could be fine over here. Maybe it's smaller, you know, they're not as big as that.
Well, we could definitely make it smaller. And in
But I
terms of
think
the
it's
sliding
more-
door, I would like to add that, like, on the first floor of the back of this house, we have a very similar style door where it opens all the way out. So
just add a
Yeah,
re-
we're not talking about the back right now. So what's before us is the front, and the commission it seems like it's made it clear that they're
Yep.
not happy with the 4-panel sliding door. So you're gonna have to come back with something different there.
and the case, I mean, it's just introducing too many new elements to
Yeah, so
the facade.
So
So
come
I
back
think
to
what I'm
something that's
hearing
more in
is that,
keeping with the
yeah.
house.
Are we,
Yeah.
we think we're getting close to a motion, maybe? So we remember
Yes.
we've got work order number 1, which is the landscaping, which seemed like we're pretty, that
Fine.
there weren't any comments or questions on that. That just as a reminder that the staff recommendation was to vote to issue a certificate of appropriateness for work item 1, the hardscaping as proposed. And then the question about the hyphen area, you know, our options are to issue a notice to proceed for the hyphen addition as proposed, which it sounds like we're not really keen on, and that, or another option would be to vote to not issue a notice to proceed or certificate of appropriateness as proposed, and ask the applicant to come back with a better design. So,
Like a motion. I'm so
well,
moved.
some commissioner has to make the motion. I was just stating
make
what
that
the
motion.
options were. Thank you, Ed.
I'll make the motion as stated by the chair.
Okay, so I can repeat that the Ed is your motion to vote to issue a certificate of appropriateness for work item 1, the hardscaping as proposed,
Yes.
and then to vote to not issue a notice to proceed or certificate of appropriateness for the hyphen addition as proposed,
Yes.
and ask that the applicant come back to us with a new design.
And can I
More in
add
keeping.
Go
More in keeping.
Go ahead, Ed, first, and then Lily.
More in keeping with the existing house. I mean, they could either do a series of windows like or next adjacent to the entry, or they could do paired casements like you see in that sunroom. And they could do, you know, where the sliding doors are, they could do a door and windows. But it ought to be sort of a continuous idea that's in keeping with what's happening in the existing house. That's just a comment. It's not the motion, but it's just some advice to them. that'll get it through next time.
I think, Mr. Horde, if I may add, I think you know, we're basically we're 90% on your 100 page. We're right there. I promise you. We will
Okay.
come
But
back.
it's not
then-
by what the drawings show. So
Yeah,
it's
so just getting back, just to try to wrap this up, Lily, you had an additional comment. We just have a motion. We don't have a second yet. So Lily, go ahead with some
Just
additional.
entertain the idea of stepping it back a foot and
Yes.
changing the roof portion of the hyphen as metal to match the porch. So it separates itself from the rest of the garage area.
I'm sorry, I did not catch what I'm trying to understand what that is again. If you could one more time, please.
I would like to see whether it's possible to step the wall of the with the 4 windows, step it back a foot and change the roof on that hyphen to a metal roof.
Completely metal roof?
Not the whole thing, just the hyphen piece.
just where it says 144 by 72 inch wood casement windows, that section, that section there would be metal roof.
Yes, I think that's a great idea.
And if I may just to understand why would we want to do that? And I would agree with everything you guys are saying. I just want to understand exactly why that is.
Sure, because you have the main portion of the house that was existing, and you had the garage that was an accessory structure existing. And what you need when we call a new for additions and renovations in our historic guidelines, there's a specific note about hyphens acting as a transition piece, and they're stepped back from existing walls of the house. So in that case, pushing it back a foot and changing the roof slope so that it matches the porch and stuff is a good way to offer that distinction transition between the two that were existing.
Okay.
So it doesn't look like one long continuous thing.
Okay.
So that you've got this transition period that's different from both the main house and the what was the old garage.
I
If that
got you.
makes sense.
It makes perfect
Yeah,
sense.
makes
I
sense.
see this on the previous applications of the metal roofs, so I kind of have a picture, and we will make the necessary adjustments to return back, you know, with Mr. Horde's suggestions of having the windows look like, you know, what they are in the front to the left of the house over there, and you know, so we understand.
Okay, great. So I think you've got an understanding. We've got a motion that I think is pretty clear, and so we need a second to the motion.
Second.
Thank you, John. I think that was John who seconded it. Okay.
Yes.
Any further discussion? If not, then let's have a roll call vote. So this, just as a clarification, we would be voting to issue a certificate of appropriateness on the work item 1, the hardscaping, and we are voting not to issue a certificate of appropriateness or notice to proceed on the windows and doors on the hyphen. And so yes means yes on the hardscape and no on the hyphen addition part. Come back to us on that.
Great. Thank you for clarifying, Phoebe. Could we have Raquel, please?
Yes.
Wendy,
Yes.
Lily,
Yes.
Chris Parts,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Jamie,
Yes.
Ed,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
and Phoebe, please.
Yes.
Great. Thank you.
Okay.
Could I ask a question before the owner leaves? There's another house on the property which we're not considering tonight, but
Yeah, that's not on the agenda tonight.
I know that, but this is an emergency. The roof has been open and exposed for quite some time, and nothing has been done about it. The metal roofing parts are leaning against the stairway, and the roof is open. So we're going to have this house fall down if that is not addressed.
And we did approve that
Yes,
previously.
we did.
Yeah.
And nothing has been done to mitigate that hole in the roof.
Not sure if the applicant is still on and unmuted
I'm
to.
here. No, I'm
Okay.
here. I'd like to respond to Wendy. Thank you so much, Wendy. Again, it's nice to see you again here today. Wendy actually came to the property a few months ago and introduced us to the historic commission and told us to contact and make sure everything is good. And so I really appreciate that. Yes, so the approval did come in. You guys approved it. Thank you so much for that. To be honest, I do have two parts to that question. One will answer that question, and the second will be a little bit to the side. So we will get to that as soon as possible. Our scare was that because we didn't have approval fully, we didn't go ahead, and time just flew. So we will do that as soon as possible. My second question
As soon as possible is now. It is
now
going to be
next.
destroyed if you do not do it.
Okay, that was my partner who said tomorrow. So
Yeah,
you guys
as
all
soon as
heard that, right?
possible. Yes,
Okay.
we did. So if
That's
you
on
come
him.
back to us again and it's not done, Wendy's gonna ask the question.
Tomorrow we'll.
And the second question, Commission, the question is this: we would really love to utilize the inside of the house. We haven't been there for 2 years. We want to move in, but we do have work that needs to be done in the interior, to make it livable. What are our options?
Which house are you talking? Which one? Yeah, we're getting offline. I think
this is
I just
off
wanted the
agenda.
emergency roof. That's all I want.
Yeah.
See, everybody wants the answers. I have a question also that I'd like to go in. I mean, I believe it's not. It's
I
not.
think you can follow up with staff with that tomorrow. I think that would be better.
Anyway, I would like to thank you guys for creating the guidelines again. I know you guys made a new copy of how to correct everything, so I did notice that, and I really thank you guys.
Can we call the question?
Yeah, I think we already voted. We've already called the question. So I think at this point we're ready to move on. We're done with this property. If you have further questions, you can address those to staff, Mr. Gregorian, and we look forward to seeing you at a future meeting with either regarding these same properties and your additional changes. So
thank you so much.
Thank you. Yep. Let's see. Where are we on the agenda now? Other business, were there tax credit applications? There were none. So, and is there other business from staff?
I shared the 2026 meeting schedule. The only diversion from our second Thursday is the January meeting. That's because the due date for the January 8th was on Christmas. So it'll be January 14th. And that's the only
Wednesday.
A Wednesday, yeah.
Not a Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay. So everyone on the commission, please adjust your calendars. And we will see you at the November 13th, 2025 meeting. I have one other just news note, and that is that the Towson High groundbreaking ceremony is going to be on October 23rd, and I will be there representing the Landmarks Preservation Commission, among other things.
What time?
I believe it is at 10 or it's either 10 or 10:30. I think you have to get an invitation. If you'd like to get on the invitation list, John, we can see if we can contact BCPS on your behalf. I think you were the chair at the time it was approved.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah, so that it's at 10:30.
Got it.
And we can follow up about
Yeah. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, okay. Great. Any other final remarks? Hearing none, then I would entertain. Thank you all for attending. This was long meeting. And I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move that we adjourn.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you. I think and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hopefully our November meeting will be shorter.
All right. Good night.
Thank you. Good night. Bye.